Moments brought to you by Fortune Rice and Fritol.
Krokrobite, a coastal suburb in the Greater Accra region of Ghana, has become one of the finest getaway destinations in modern times. The town's eclectic nightlife and regular visitors from the city has inspired the construction of beach resorts. One of such is the Suntaa Beach Box. These two cabins was designed by architect Hassan Salih, who dreams of replicating these structures along the coastline.
A breath of fresh air is not just what the show is, but it's literally a breath of fresh air out here at the Suntaa Beach Box. So Hassan, tell me, how did you conceptualize this simple yet modern, sophisticated, urban, beach house edifice?
Yeah, so I'm an architect, so my job is to design buildings. And over the years, I have really fallen in love with very minimalistic type of design, learning from some of the great architects who, almost all of them have got, examples of, very simple, almost prefabricated type design, which is geared towards people, or geared towards making construction cheaper and more easily accessible, especially during the post-World War II era when most of Europe was sort of brought to the ground. And this sort of spawned a new style of architecture, if you like, which is referred to as the international style, eventually modernism. And I've always been a lover of that style of architecture, and so I got fascinated by prefabricated housing, the fact that you can live minimally but still live in large within a small floor area. And I love beaches as well. And when I discovered this piece of land some years back, I always knew that I would love to do something here that people could come to have fun, enjoy the ocean view.
And yes, like you rightly mentioned, I love the minimalistic nature of this building. And so what did you have in mind when you were putting this together?
Everybody actually, everybody. But when you talk about putting this together, do you mean like the beach house or just the architecture?
The architecture.
Style? The architecture style is for everybody, actually. Everyone from the young graduates who is trying to start out in life. It's a very minimalist way of getting into the property market. If your parents have a piece of land, maybe some extra area on their existing plot, you could build something like this there to start out, be independent and not live in the main building with your parents. So to someone who's retiring and wants to sort of do away with all the chaff and then live a very simple life, or someone who wants to build something in a remote place where they could always go to for their vacation and stuff like that. So it's for everybody.
The cabins sit on 100 square meter land built completely of wood. Hassan shares with me why it has become necessary for such innovations.
So let's talk about a few things I was telling you about when I think of a perfect getaway. And I was telling you about comfort, security and affordability. So let's start with comfort. I noticed how wood dominates the structure. Why is it so? Is it because of the beach?
So think about, yes, definitely the beach, the ocean, but there's also a thing about wood and the ocean, which is quite prevalent in maritime architecture. When you go on cruise ships, most of the interiors are done like this. So we took the inspiration from there as well, but also just the material itself and how it does in an environment like this. Because the environment around the beach is very salty, there's a lot of salt in the air. If you use metallic structures, you are going to have a problem with rust. So as much as possible, we've kept it to the wood for both the exterior and the interior as well. But in other situations where if we're doing this somewhere else, say in the city, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be wood. But then this particular site, is the reason why we use wood in this.
Beautiful. And you said you were talking earlier about how anybody at all is invited to, come spend some time here. And I wanted to know if how many people do you think is appropriate to bring here? Is it friends? Can friends come here? Is it just can I come alone? Do I have to come with somebody?
Absolutely. I mean,
how many people do you allow in here?
I mean, some people like
it looks like a place for two.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a place for two.
Ideally, it works very well for two. It works very, very well for two.
So 3 will not be a crowd?
3 will not be a crowd. I mean, you have small families, where there's a kid or 2 kids maximum. We take a maximum of 4 in these units. But then at the base rate that we charge, it's for 2. So it comes with breakfast. So it's bed and breakfast for 2. But yeah, you can come with the family. The bed is a sofa bed. It transforms into a bed. I mean, the sofa is a sofa bed. So it transforms into a bed where 2 kids, and then we can bring in an extra mattress for a third person. So yeah, anybody can come.
The one-bedroom-like house is essentially designed to provide guests the needed comfort. Hassan chose fabrics that felt good on the skin. Three-meter-high glass windows allow fantastic view from the hall and bedroom. You can even sleep and wake up to the sounds of the Atlantic Ocean. A home away from home, Hassan tells me how secure and safe the facility is.
Let's move to security. How safe is this place?
The thing I learned about security is that security is a lifestyle, right? It's a way of doing things. It's not necessarily the physical barriers that will keep people out. It's how you've dealt with the entire environment that would make it safe, passive surveillance, all that kind of stuff. So first of all, in choosing a location like here, we already did a lot of research, and we know that it's a very safe place. It's a very safe environment. The locals, we are very close to them as well. We didn't come in as strangers. We've been here for a number of years, and we have got to know the locals. We know the youth. So, and then also the culture of the people themselves. They are very vigilant. I mean, there are lots of beaches in Accra, right? But when you come here, you can already tell that this is a very serene beach. They take very good care of it. They are very, very, very possessive of their beach. So even when they see strange people walking around, they walk up to you and question you what you're doing here, that kind of stuff. So it's a very secure environment. But then also the structure in itself, because in this particular case, we want you to be as close to nature as possible. We want you to be close to the ocean, which is what it's all about, right? So we couldn't do anything but to use glass. Now in doing so, we obviously have to make sure we have manned security, especially at night. And then even during the day, we have guys around who are always patrolling the area and all that. But because you also want privacy for our guests, you don't want it to feel too heavily manned. You want them to feel like they are alone, they're in nature, no interruption.
Muniru, Hassan's partner, is hopeful of a bright future.
Muniru, so how challenging has this been for you and your team putting it together?
Well, I always like to use a different word than challenging. I like to say we embrace the challenge and then make it interesting. Yes, so it's been an interesting experience. We've tried our best to work around all the challenges that we faced, and then it turned out fine at the end of the day. Logistically, there were a few challenges, hitches here and there, because we had to transport a lot of items, coming from Accra here and all that, but hey, we got it under wraps, and so far so good.
And how long has Suntaa Beach Box been around?
We started Suntaa Beach Box from the first quarter of this year, so barely 6 months. Yes, barely 6 months.
And what kind of people come here? Caliber of people?
So we have people coming from the diaspora, we have locals coming, we have people from all over the world, because it's listed on Airbnb, and then it gives us the opportunity to the open market, so it's open worldwide. So anyone at all can book. You have people coming from Germany, you have people coming from the US, people from Ghana as well, our own country. So it's a wonderful experience.
And to take some business tips from you,
right.
Let's talk a little bit finance.
Fantastic.
How has it been for you financing or funding this project?
Okay, so after we had preliminary discussions between myself, Hassan, and Ahmed, our third partner, so we were like, okay, we need to put in some funds. So we self-financed the first cabin. We put in the funds ourselves because we believed in it. We had done a lot of research, and then we knew that it will turn out fine. So we put in funds, and then before we could finish the first one, someone already bought the second one, Oh, wow. And it's been like that since. Anytime, before you finish one cabin, someone purchases another one, and then it keeps going on and on, So.
Sorry.
You're right.
Finally, when are you starting promotions so that some of us can now
come
with our producers?
So, unfortunately, promotions ended. Ended quite early. The demand was so high, we had to just cease with the promotions. The promo period ran for a couple of weeks. In May, that's last month, we ran promos. That was the first 2 weeks that we launched, and it was good. And then still, even with the regular pricing, demand is still high. We actually can't meet the demand as of now, so it's why we are putting up more cabins just to make sure that everyone is sorted,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
$119 per night may be worth the trade for a secluded, serene ambient with nature.
Well, and finally, let's talk about what's not just on my mind, but probably on the minds of Osam and the rest and anybody else. Affordability. For a very long time, young people have, perceived such places to be expensive and for just a select few. Is this affordable for the average corporate worker?
To build or to rent?
To rent.
To rent, it's quite affordable actually for what you get. So a night goes for $190. It's on Airbnb, so that's why we are saying it in dollars, because it's a global, platform.
Absolutely.
But it's a place where you come to spend, a special time with family and friends. It's a place where you come to get your thoughts together. It's a place where you want to get connected to nature, and it's self-contained. So it has a bedroom, it has a bathroom, it has a kitchen, living area. So it's pretty much a one-bedroom apartment. And then you get to, you have your own private beach. We're gonna have a hot tub out here very soon as well. So it's quite a good package if you ask me.
So that's all the time I can afford at the Suntaa Beach Box. So for a perfect weekend getaway, if you don't mind driving 20 minutes away from the West Hills Mall here in Accra, Suntaa Beach Box is probably the place you should see.